Charles III, by the grace of God, of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of other realms and territories King, Head of the Commonwealth, Defender of the Faith, to all lords spiritual and temporal, and all other our subjects whatsoever to whom these presents shall come, greeting. Know ye that we of our especial grace, certain knowledge and mere motion, in pursuance of the Life Peerages Act 1958, and of all other powers in that behalf us enabling, do, by presence, advance, create, and prefer our right trusty and well-beloved counsellor, David William Donald Cameron, to the state, degree, style, dignity, title, and honour of Baron Cameron of Chipping Norton in our county of Oxfordshire. And for us, our heirs and successors, do appoint, give, and grant unto him the said name, state, degree, style, dignity, title, and honour of Baron Cameron of Chipping Norton, to have and to hold unto him for his life. Willing, and by these presents granting, for us, our heirs and successors, that he may have, hold, and possess a seat, place, and voice in the parliaments and public assemblies and councils of us, our heirs and successors, within our United Kingdom, amongst the barons. And also that he may enjoy and use all the rights, privileges, preeminences, immunities, and advantages to the degree of a baron duly and of right belonging, which barons of our United Kingdom have heretofore used and enjoyed, or as they do at present use and enjoy. In witness whereof, we have caused these our letters to be made patent. Witness ourself at Westminster, the 17th day of November, in the 2nd year of our reign. By warrant, under the King's sign manual.
I, David, Lord Cameron of Chipping Norton, do swear by Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles, his heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God.
First oral question, Baroness Jones of Whitchurch.
I beg leave to ask a question standing in my name on the order paper.
The Government's response to the landscape review is in its final stages of preparation and will be published imminently. The response will outline the ambitious actions we've taken since the review's publication, including through the Science and Technology Framework and the creation of DSIT. It will also announce further commitments to create a research, development and innovation landscape that makes the most of our strategic advantages and builds a more diverse, resilient and investable landscape.
I thank the Noble Lord, the Minister, for that reply, but he'll know that the review identified significant problems in the UK's RDI landscape, some of which are long-term and serious, and are preventing us from becoming a science superpower. So can he assure us that the Government will take on board the integrated set of recommendations proposed in the review and establish an authoritative working group to implement them, rather than adopting a piecemeal approach to what is a very serious challenge?
Indeed, it is a serious challenge, and the review identified, I think, 29 separate recommendations. The approach that the government is taking is to address them not merely singly, but, as the Noble Lady suggests, collectively as a whole as well. In fact, since its creation, two of our major steps really build on the foundations laid by the nurse review, that is the creation of DSIT itself and the laying down of the Science and Technology Framework, which builds on the review to set out the approach along many of the lines that the review suggested.
Apologies to the Noble Baroness Lady Jones of Whitchurch. The nurse review points out that the government investment in R&D in the UK at 1.12% of GDP is five times lower than the OECD average. The UK ranks 27th out of 36 OECD countries. Where does the Noble Lord the Minister think we should rank if we are to unlock the UK's full potential in science?
Well, I'm not entirely sure where these figures come from. The R&D intensity of the United Kingdom, that is to say, the amount spent on R&D as a percentage of the amount as a percentage of GDP, is between 2.8 and 2.9%. That places us fourth in the G7, behind Japan, Germany, and the United States, also behind Israel and Korea. So it can certainly be higher, and that's why we've committed to spending 20 billion per year by the 24-25 spending review.
My Lord, the figures Lord Crabbe spoke of were in the review. I read it this morning. Can I ask him to reassure us that the response will represent the views of the whole of Whitehall, not just the Treasury for the advanced spending, but the Department for Education and the Home Office? The review says that we need a workforce of several 100,000 more by 2030, half from the UK, half from abroad. That will require a change in science education in schools, higher pay for researchers in British universities, and from abroad, it will require the Home Office to reverse the huge increase in visa and health charges it intends to impose up front on researchers attracted to work in this country.
Indeed, and the Noble Lord is absolutely right. We've identified that from the base now of roughly 1 million people in this country working in R&D, taking into account retirements, we probably need by 27 another 380,000 R&D workers. Now, inevitably, a great many of those are going to need to come via the immigration route. In terms of there are a wide variety of visa programs that can meet that need. The government takes a view that the going-in position is that those benefiting from visas should bear the costs, the immediate costs of the visas and the healthcare, rather than the taxpayer. However, that is kept always under review, and should it turn out, or should evidence emerge that we are not getting either the quantity or the quality of immigration applications, then we will take appropriate action.
My Lords, there are two streams of funding that the universities rely on, are the quality-related funding and the charity research support funding. Both of these are necessary for universities to develop the infrastructure, but both these funding streams have been eroded over time, and as charities increase their funding for research, the amount of money the support fund is able to support the universities has declined. So can the Noble Lord, the Minister, commit to addressing those two issues and at least bring it up to inflationary levels?
Yes, indeed, and I'm very happy to look at that. I mean, I note that government currently contributes about 20% of R&D funding just through the UKRI and other sources, whereas non-profits around 3% of funding. Government is, as I say, committed to increasing by about a third its R&D funding by the 24-25 spending review, which should go some way to addressing that gap. But meanwhile, I take on board the Noble Lord's comments.
Well, my Noble Minister agree with me that in addition to government spend, R&D tax credits have risen to 7.3 billion from 6.6 billion last year, which is to be very welcomed, but that perhaps it could be higher if SMEs were, or if there was a campaign to explain to SMEs the availability